Daniel Carter was 35 years old, but life had made him feel like he was 60. He walked through the quiet, leaf-covered path of the city park, his head bowed, hands in his coat pockets, his heart heavier than it had ever been. 3 years ago, Daniel had been on top of the world. His small tech startup had gained attention. Investors had lined up, and success seemed inevitable. But then came market crashes, betrayals from people he trusted, and poor decisions that unraveled everything he had worked for. His relationship had crumbled under the pressure, too. His fiancée had left him, saying she couldn't live with a man who always talked about the future but couldn't provide anything in the present. Daniel found himself sitting on a lonely bench in the park, away from the noise of the world. He sighed deeply and ran his hands through his messy hair, trying to make sense of where it all went wrong. Next to him sat an old woman, wrapped in a soft gray shawl, her silver hair neat in a bun. She had a basket of crumbs and was gently feeding the birds. Her eyes were calm, her hands steady, and her presence comforting. Daniel barely noticed her at first, too consumed by his storming thoughts. But the old woman noticed him. She had a talent for spotting broken people. She had seen hundreds of them come and go, sitting on that same bench. After a few minutes of silence, the woman spoke in a voice both gentle and commanding. "You look like a man who's carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders." Daniel blinked, slightly startled, then gave a sad smile. "Maybe because I am." The woman chuckled. "Mind if I offer you some advice, young man?" Daniel shrugged. "I don't think advice can fix this, but sure." The woman shifted slightly to face him. "My name is Martha. I've lived for 78 years, and I've seen life chew people up and spit them out more times than I can count. But I've also seen people rebuild themselves stronger than ever." Daniel stayed quiet but listened. "When I was your age," Martha continued, "my husband Joseph lost everything. He had a successful carpentry business, well respected in our town. One fire, one careless mistake from a neighbor, and it was all gone. The shop, the savings, the reputation. We had nothing but debt and humiliation." Daniel frowned. "What did you do?" Martha smiled. "At first we cried. We broke. We questioned why life was so unfair. People we called friends turned their backs on us. My own sister told me to leave Joseph, said he was a failure and I'd waste my life with him." Daniel looked at her, sensing there was more. But Joseph, he refused to give up. Every morning, while the world doubted him, he got up and took small steps. He chopped wood for neighbors. He repaired fences. He sold handmade wooden toys at local fairs. Little by little, people started to respect him again, not because he was rich, but because he had dignity. She leaned in slightly, her eyes sharp. "You see, young man, when the world kicks you down, you've got two choices. Stay there and become what they call you, or rise up slowly but surely and show them your true worth." Daniel swallowed hard. The words hit deeper than he expected. "I built my business from the ground," Daniel admitted, "but it collapsed, and with it, so did I." Martha smiled knowingly. "Then you are in the best position life can offer you." Daniel's eyebrows shot up. "Best position? I've lost everything." "No, dear," Martha corrected. "You've lost illusions. Now you get to rebuild wiser, tougher, humbler. This is your second chance." Daniel chuckled bitterly. "Feels more like a cruel joke." "Ah, that's where you're wrong," Martha replied, patting his hand. "You are breathing, aren't you? Your heart is still beating. Every sunrise gives you a choice. You can mourn your losses or start planting new seeds." He fell silent. Martha continued. "You know why people like you and my Joseph suffer the most after failure? Because you tied your identity to success. You thought money and business made you who you are. But failure, it reminds you that you are not your job, not your bank account, not your relationship status. You are what you choose to do next." Daniel felt something stir within him, like a small flame in a cold, dark room. "What about the people who abandoned me?" Daniel asked. "The friends who disappeared, the woman who left me?" Martha smiled kindly. "Be grateful. They saved you from wasting time on people who couldn't handle your worst. The ones who can only celebrate your wins are not your tribe. When you rebuild, you'll attract better people. ones who admire your resilience, not your status. Daniel rubbed his face, feeling the heavy fog begin to lift. Martha wasn't done. You think you failed, but you didn't. You learned. You gained knowledge that no university teaches. How to survive disaster. You now know who to trust, what mistakes to avoid, and how to move carefully. That's wisdom you earn the hard way. And that's the kind of wisdom that builds legacies. Daniel's eyes watered slightly, embarrassed at first, but Martha smiled reassuringly. Crying's a loud boy, she said, but quitting is not. Daniel stood up slowly, stretching his back. For the first time in months, his shoulders didn't feel as heavy. He looked at Martha with sincere gratitude. Thank you. I really needed to hear this. Martha waved him off with a grin. The world doesn't need more people who give up. It needs fighters, and you, young man, are going to be one. He smiled, feeling lighter, his heart just a little more hopeful. As he walked away from the park, Daniel didn't have money in his pocket or a business to run, but he carried something far more valuable. A renewed spirit, a new perspective, and a determination to rise again. And behind him, on the same old wooden bench, Martha continued feeding the birds, quietly waiting for the next lost soul to sit beside her.